Hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Ghanshyam.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dear participants, we are going to begin session 2 of day 1, that is Installation and IDE. The speaker of this session is Mr. Dhruvil Shah sir. He is a senior mobile app developer at high level and co-organizer of Google Developer Group, Ahmedabad, and also founder of Flutter Flex. He is also former student of Miss MP Mehta Madam, Honorable Head of the Computer Engineering Department, Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar. So we are glad to have him to begin the second section and the first technical session of this faculty development program. Along with Dhrumil Shah sir, I would like to welcome uh, Vivek Yadav sir. He is also senior developer at Zest Money, organizer of Flutter Mumbai and Flutter India, been a mentor and judge at many tech hackathons. So we are having two experts within this one session. So I welcome both of them. And without wasting any precious moment, I am directly handing over to the speaker of this session, Mr. Dhruvil Shah sir and Vivek Yadav sir. Please, sir.
Hello everyone. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Perfect. So before I start, I want everyone to switch on their camera and switch on their mic as well. So let's just do a quick round of quick introduction, because now for the next 6 or 7 days we are together on this journey of application development using the Flutter. So let's just have a quick introduction by everyone. Just share your name. What is your main subject, what you teach to in your college, and from which region you are belongs to, from Gujarat or India, so that I have the complete visibility. And also if you can share how much amount of experience you have in terms of the programming language teaching. Then okay, so Ghanshyam sir, I guess you can start with your, and then the rest of the team member will join one by one and they will introduce themselves.
Myself, Ghanshyam Singh Jadeja. I am from Computer Engineering Department of Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar. Currently, I am teaching programming in C++ in recent third semester, and basics of computer programming in the very first semester of diploma in computer engineering.
Good morning, Dhrumil sir. Myself, Manisha Chaudhary, and I am studying MCAD, which is included with the Android in a 6th semester. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Jasmine Xavier. I am from Tamil Nadu. I am working in Computer Science Department, St. Xavier's College at Tirunelveli.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
I am Dr. Devi Priya from Tamil Nadu, APR Institute of Engineering and Technology. I have 15 plus years of experience. I am currently handling the subject of artificial intelligence. Actually, I am having very much eager to learn this Flutter, so only I have registered this. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Great. Yeah, next.
Hello, I am Darshak Mehta. I am faculty in IT department at Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar. Dhrumil sir, we have met before in Flutter meetups, and I learned a lot from your knowledge. So it's great to meet again and excited to gain more knowledge.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Audible?
Yes.
Myself, Rajesh Pradhan from Department of Information Technology, Government Polytechnic for Girls, Surat. And I am also eagerly waiting to learn Flutter from experts. Right. Thank you very much for organizing such a great event. Thank you very much, sir.
Hello, am I audible, sir? Myself, Monali. I am from Government Polytechnic, Gandhinagar, Electronics and Communication Department. I must say that I started my mobile app development journey with Drumil sir when he conducted FDP with Manisha madam at GPM Daba. That I'm again feel very blessed to learn Flutter again from the same people. So thank you very much and too much eager to learn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
My name is Manmeet Singh Jala from GEC Modasa IT department, and I know a little bit about the mobile application development, but I came to know about the Flutter recently, and I get this opportunity.
Awesome. Yep. Next.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir. I will start again. I'm Manmeet Singh Jala from GEC Modasa IT department, and I'm eager to learn the Flutter development and mobile application development. That's why I joined this training. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, myself Kritika from KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore. I have an experience of 6 years. I am so interested to learn Flutter, sir. So I do join this session. Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. This is Harsha. I am from Government Polytechnic for Girls, Surat, and I am very much interested in web development and mobile development. So that's why I have joined this training for Flutter.
Nice.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, I am Rajesh Chambukia from GP Ahmedabad, Government Polytechnic Ahmedabad. I'm looking forward to learn something new regarding Flutter application development. Thank you, sir.
Great. Okay, next. Are we done?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Myself Pratiksha Chaudhary from Government Girls Polytechnic Surat, and I'm very interested in learning Flutters. Thank you for giving me opportunity, sir.
Awesome.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. This is Mahesh Bargaje from RC Technical Institute, Ahmedabad. I was interested in Flutter. That's why I had joined this training. And thank you for organizing this beautiful training.
Great. Okay. Okay. Do we have anyone still left who is, haven't shared about them, apart from me and Vivek? Okay, see, so like this is not going to be happen like the traditional training session or something like that. This is more about the conversational and more about the fun. So what we'll do is we will do some activities, we will do some fun, and then we will learn. This is how we are going to do it. So I'll start with the one question that was been asked in the previous, like in the inauguration, and the question was like very tempting for me. I'm just repeat the question. The question was, right now there are a lot of changes happening in the market regarding the new technologies and everything. So how, as an educational body, or like as in the the faculty member, or like the college, how we incorporate those changes and how we actually teach the students, so that the gap which is happening right now with the education and with the profession, how we can bridge the gap. So the good answer been given by Mr. Raza. So Raza is kind of the junior for me. I am kind of one batch senior to him, and I found that he's doing some great thing, and the way he put it, his input was really great. So he answered that we should help the students so that they can learn new things in a better way. I totally agree with that. And the another point is like, so whatever you as in the faculty members are doing, since years, it is actually giving and adding a lot of value. Trust me, because I am also, one of the product of yours. So I am also been, been graduated and learned from the Manisha ma'am, and whatever my core are and why my core are strong is just because of those things, because I learned those things like, very well manner. So all the faculty members who are right now here, like whatever you are doing, you are actually, creating a foundation for the future generation. So you're already bridging the gap. The only thing is like, whatever you are teaching, just
Sorry,
help
sir, but you are
understand.
not audible.
Hello, am I not audible?
No, sir, we
Sir,
can hear.
voice is break.
Oh, sorry.
No, sir. You are audible properly.
Sure. Let me just, come again. Vivek, can you just switch off your camera? I guess there is some bandwidth issue. And okay, am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I was just saying that as a faculty members, whatever you guys are doing, right, teaching the core concepts of the programming or like of computer engineering or computer science is actually the main crux of whatever the new technology is coming. So as most of the member over here are know that whatever the new technology comes, the core principles remains the same, whether it's object-oriented programming, the functional programming, the event-driven programming, or like the procedural programming, right? So you are already bridging the gap. The only thing you can help the students is like whatever that you are teaching them, just keep those things as in the concepts rather than mugging up, so that when they jump on the new technology or like new framework or new language, it is easy for them to cope up. So that's the only thing that I just wanted to add it, before I start my session. So right now it is too much cold. I don't know how much cold at your place. So I just want to do, some quick, like, rubbing my hand and the exercise, and let's just get started. Are you guys ready to, fly with me for the Flutter?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So before we start, I just want to know that what exactly you know about the Flutter. Like everyone can, like unmute yourself one by one and just share that what is your thought process, or like how you can define Flutter in one line, whatever you know. So then, I can start from that point of part, so that, everyone are on the same page.
Sir, in my opinion, Flutter is a platform that helps me build an app that will be, compliant with iOS and Android both. That was, I think, earlier version, and later it was also applicable to website development and desktop applications.
Okay. Next.
Sir, it is cross-platform application development tool or kind of language.
Okay, it's a tool / language. Okay. Next. Anyone have any other different opinion that what exactly, what is your assumption behind the Flutter? Apart from, whatever has been shared, right?
Yeah, it's an UI based application. So majorly focus on UI and yeah, also platform.
Okay, so we got another perspective, which is like, mainly for the UI. Okay, nice. Anyone want to add anything else? Okay, so cool. Here, how many have experience with, like developing or programming in Android or like iOS or like any other framework? Any like this kind of high level framework? or platform? Everyone have any basic idea of running an Android application, like just a hello world and the thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Let's just start that. So first, in the today's session, we will start what exactly the Flutter is, why it is important to learn Flutter, and how it has been different from the other platform. Okay, and then I will add a bit of my story as well, that how I started learning Flutter. So this is my basic introduction. It is already been shared with you all. I am been entitled by the Google as a Flutter expert, Flutter and Dart expert since 2019. So this is my third year as an expert. We have to be updated, and every year we've been interviewed so that our title remains as an expert. Otherwise, it will get expired. So apart from you, I am also learning every day new Flutter stuff. Apart from being as an expert, I am running a community called GDG Ahmedabad, which stands for Google Developer Group. In Ahmedabad, we are connected with more than 10,000 active developers. So you can say that any new thing is coming into the market, we have touch upon and the connection over there. So we are learning together and sharing this stuff which is with each other. I'm working as the senior mobile application developer in a company called High Level. This 3 arrow you can see is my company's logo. Apart from working as a Go High Level, I am an independent consultant as well, where I help startups to build their apps in the Flutter. Right now, I'm working with 3 another startups apart from the High Level. One is from Mumbai-based startup, which is the MultiPy app. You can go and check. There is another startup which is right now in stealth mode from Bangalore. And there is another startup from Silicon Valley, which is right now also in a stealth mode, and it will be get launched in 2 months. These all about my professional works. In a personal time, I'm sharing a lot of stuff about the Flutter and whatever thing happening in the Flutterverse. So Flutterverse means there is another world where most of the Flutter developers and the community members are sharing some stuff on the Flutter, and those things I'm resharing and collaborating under the Flutterflex account. So you can go on Twitter and check the Flutterflex. You can get all the latest information about the Flutter over there. This is my online presence as at the Duma1981. You can connect me offline or online using this ID. So this is my personal email ID as well, duma1981@gmail.com. You can reach out to me on Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere with this ID. So let's back to start the story. So in 2017, I started exploring the Flutter. Before Flutter, I was working as an Android developer, and there were a lot of challenges in the Android in terms of processing power, in terms of development, in terms of stability, because every time a new version comes for the Android and there are some breaking changes. So in 2017, I found that I need to do something and do not need to myself to limit it towards the Android development. So I plan to explore the iOS stuff, but looks like iOS was a bit difficult for me. So I started exploring the cross-platform framework. At that time, the React Native Cordova was there, and there was a main pain point was the JavaScript. My main background is from the Java. And I hope everyone can relate this thing that Java and JavaScript are not the same. They are totally different. I don't know why people name it as a JavaScript. That is like mainly more confusing and more problematic for each and every developer who are jumping from one standardization to the another standardization. So in 2017, I started exploring Flutter. The reason was because मेरे को जिंदगी में कुछ अलग करना था. Like I was like totally bored by doing like normal development, because obviously the worlds are moving. There are a lot of new things. I also wanted to do the new stuff. And in 2021, and now it's 2022, like everyone are doing this. Like whomsoever are from Java background, Kotlin background, Swift background, and they want to develop the mobile app. They are looking at the Flutter. So why this like everyone are looking at the Flutter? What exactly it is hooking up everyone with the Flutter? So the main reason is the Android Studio. So we all know that if you have a system with 4 GB RAM, a bit old processor, and a standard hard disk, when you run Android Studio, you can take as many tea breaks or lunch break as you want, because it takes a lot of time to build the stuff, correct? And the Gradle build also will take ages if you are running some heavy applications. And if you want to do any changes and if you want to restart the building, it will take the ages, right? Also, apart from that, however you build your app beautifully, there are some devices, some OEMs are actually override that behavior and that make your app looks very ugly. This is the one example. I guess everyone know that this is the Samsung device and it does this thing. You can override this behavior. And this is actually impact a particular the product owner or the app developers, because the developer are putting its hard efforts to make the things beautiful, and such OEMs do the wonders. So these are the problems. Apart from this is also a problem as in a working professional. So when I go to office and as an Android developer, and a client comes up with his iOS device and he says that, hey, I want to develop the same application on Android as an iOS. Now, as at the technical background, all we know that iOS and Android both are the different ecosystem. They have different behavior, different UI, different UX. And to copy each and everything from iOS to Android is again a difficult and a big challenge. So these all are the problems and how we actually solve this. And then come the Flutter to solve this problem. So as soon as I realized this problem, started exploring it, I came to Flutter and Flutter told me that, hey, apni sari samasya mujhe de do, and I will give you the solution. And that's how it started. And I started exploring the Flutter. So these are some statistics been shared by the GitHub. So GitHub told that right now Flutter is on the 3rd position overall worldwide. The first is VS Code, second is Microsoft Docs, and third is the Flutter. So these are the open source repository where people are more interested and they are doing a lot of contribution over here. Also, in terms of the future of the developer ecosystem, this is the LinkedIn data that says that the Flutter is right now the fastest growing skill among the software developer. Like everyone are learning this, and there are a lot of job openings are over there who are looking for the Flutter developers as well. So what exactly the Flutter is? So many of our team members have answered this, that Flutter is Google's UI toolkit for building beautiful, natively compiled application for mobile, web, and desktop from a single code base. Okay, so right now, if I want to build an application for mobile, for web, for desktop, I need a bunch of team members who have the different expertise, and then everyone have to build the app, and I have to maintain all the source code just to maintain one feature or a particular feature. So this problem and all the problems that we discussed earlier has been fixed by the Flutter framework, and that's why this is right now becoming more and more famous. So how it is doing, how Flutter is actually solving these problems. Let's just go into a bit of deep dive. So this is kind of a good painting where we can see some architecture diagram here. So the whole Flutter framework is divided into two main portions. First is the framework and second is the engine. Here right now, how many people have played games on their mobile? Like Candy Crush, Temple Run, Subway Surfer, or any games? Everyone have played a game on mobile at least once in a life? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what games? What games have you played? Like, feel free to share. Like, unmute yourself and tell.
Almost all the names that you specified, sir.
Okay. Is there anyone here who have played a game on Android and iOS both and found that there is a difference in the game, or like the game is actually looks same whether it's on Android or iOS?
Some graphical changes might be applied when we change the gameplay in Android or switching to iOS.
I mean, let's take an example of a Candy Crush, which is like common to everyone, correct? So in the Candy Crush, what happens? You got some bits and pieces, and you need to create a row or column or and like arrange those things so that that can disappear if it is more than 3, correct, in a row or in a column. So I guess this is the same behavior and the same way a user can play, whether it's an Android or an iOS, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, but if you check the WhatsApp, so WhatsApp is different in Android and different in iOS. It's not as similar as it looks. It's totally different on iOS and totally different on the Android. Have you have anyone have experienced this? So the reason here is why some of the apps have a different behavior on different platform, and some of the apps have same to same identical behavior. So it's because of their use cases, and so this Flutter actually been utilized for those kind of use cases where you don't worry about the platform where your application or where your solution is hosted, but you are more worried about to solve the problem. Like, for example, if I want to solve a problem of teaching the students, and now I don't know whether the students have an Android device or iOS device, but my solution is very generic. So in that case, I will take the Flutter and I won't go to the native way. But if I have very specific requirement that, hey, I want to do this thing on Android and I want to do this thing on iOS, then I will suggest you don't go for the Flutter, because as the cross-platform frameworks and this kind of toolkits are used for the common use cases. So how this Flutter actually gives you this the flexibility to run on each and every platform. So the native layer here is the this engine layer, which is written in a C++. Here the main 3 part is the Skia engine, the Dart language, and the text manipulation engine. So whatever the graphics or the UI is being rendered over the screen is being managed by the Skia. Now Skia is a rendering engine. It follows the same principle of the game engine. So as we took the example of Candy Crush. So Candy Crush is actually whatever the graphics that we can see over the screen is actually being managed by that game engine by which it has been built upon. So it doesn't go and ask for Android or iOS that, hey Android, can you just give me one container where I can draw the grid and place my diamonds over there. If a user will swipe from right to left, that even doesn't go to the OS layer. It just go to that at the application layer, and then application manage everything. So the same thing happened with the Flutter. So Flutter itself take the whole control of the screen. Whatever the thing that you can see on the screen, it has been managed by this Skia engine. In the Flutter, we use the language called Dart. So till now, we have heard about C, C++, Java, JavaScript, VB, .NET, Kotlin, Swift, Objective-C, and now this is the new language called Dart. So don't worry, we will cover that Dart. And Dart is honestly very easy language if we know, the language that I just speak about. And the text rendering engine is whatever the text that you can see on the screen is being rendered by the text engine. So this is the main core of the Flutter framework. Now, on the upper layer of this framework is the topmost is the material and Cupertino libraries. So in iOS, some UI is different, and on Android, some UI is different, and both follow some guidelines or some methodology. So those methodology is being identified by these 2 libraries. If you are opening your Gmail application or like your call application, your SMS application in your Android, you can see some material related feedback where you tap on it, it will ripple out on the button and the stuff. So these all the UI guidelines or UI design libraries is been managed under the material library. And if you want more plain kind of UI, more iOS type of UI, you can use the Cupertino library and you can extend the widgets from there. Now, as I said, widgets. So widgets are actually the upper layer of this material and Cupertino. This material and Cupertino actually add that sense and the colors to that widgets. So widgets are the building blocks of the whole Flutter ecosystem. For example, if we want anything in the screen, let's take an example. If we open our WhatsApp and we can see that if I'm opening my WhatsApp screen and I can see there is a WhatsApp logo written on the top, then there are like 4 tabs for this camera, then chats and status and calls. So these are the tab. So this everything has been written under the widgets. The rendering part, third part, is a framework that how this particular widgets are getting rendered over the screen. So it actually like calculates that was the screen size and at what particular place I want to render that particular widgets. Below that, animation, painting, and gesture classes. So if user is doing something on the screen, for example, user is actually swiping up. So during the swiping up, what kind of painting will done on the screen? How the animation will work? What are the widgets will get re-rendered? So these everything is being managed by this layer. And the foundation layer have all the core principles and all the core thing, which actually helps everything to work together. So this is the core of the whole Flutter framework. Now this engine, just because of this engine part, we can have the whole app running on the Android or iOS. This actually sits on the canvas layer of your Android and iOS device. So what happens here? Let me just explain you in the next slide. So the one thing that we learned is like how Flutter is actually helping for the mobile. Now let's just see how the same code base actually work for the web. So you can see here the upper layer is same, and this is actually a layer where developer interacts. So whatever we write the code, we get help from this layer, and whatever happening behind the scenes, it is being handled by this layer, like this engine. And for the web, it is the browser layer. So this browser layer have the canvas, the JavaScript engine, and the DOM object. Now, those who are from the web background and those who have a bit experience, they know that the DOM is the document object model, who actually take care of all the rendering part of you can see on the screen with your HTML and with all the data points. The JavaScript engine over here is used to convert this Dart language code into the your browser can understand. I mean, in the JavaScript code, and Canvas here again used to convert all this rendering and drawing into the HTML based stuff. That's why the way the Flutter has architect its own, that's why it is giving that flexibility that if we write a code in Dart, it will run on Android, iOS using this part of the framework, and on the web using this part of the framework. Till now, do you have any question or like any difficulties to understand this or any doubt? Feel free to ask it. I hope till now everyone are with me. Yes, someone is asking something.
Yeah. So like as you say, the bottom part is changed. So if there is any update in like in Android or in iOS, for that Google is work for that, and then after we got that latest version, and then after we develop based on that.
Yeah, so exactly what happens here. So Android changes its OS layer, correct? And our Flutter application runs on at the Android's application layer. So we actually don't care about what is happening behind the scenes because Flutter itself take care of these things. So for example, right now, Android latest version is a 12 and we have developed application on Android 11. Okay, now in Android 12, they have changed something. And now I'm not sure whether my application will run on Android 12 or not. So here the Flutter will take care of this thing. Whatever the new update will come at the Android or iOS side, the Flutter new version will also come very next, and they will update this bottom part of the stuff. And we don't have any breaking changes over here as much as possible. So we don't have to do anything. We just need to update our Flutter and then it will work in most of the cases.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any other question? Perfect. So like there are other framework as well apart from the Flutter, like cross-platform framework, Cordova, React Native. So how Flutter is different from them? So as I said, like Flutter stays on the application layer and everything is managed by the Flutter. Apart from this, Flutter compiles code to the directly to the machine code. So the other frameworks actually do not compile to the directly to the ARM code. Here Flutter does this. How it does? So let's just take an example of the standard SDKs like Android and iOS. So what happens when you write any code to Android or iOS, it actually compiles to the native so that Android and iOS SDK can understand. The other framework, which are like Titanium, Cordova, PhoneGap, Ionic, so you have to write the code in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That code has been interpreted and converted into the JavaScript code. Then it has been transpiled so that it will get injected into the Android or iOS container, and then that particular code is getting executed. So there are like 2 or 3 layers where this kind of framework uses, and that's why when you see any application which has been used or developed using this framework, it's not that smooth as it has been developed using the native framework. Now comes the React Native. And the React Native, what happens? It also follow the same methodology for JavaScript for transpiling this stuff. But again, React Native has some reactive views, so they have optimized the stuff. But again, it is not been compiled in the native way. Whether in Flutter, what happens, whatever the code that we are writing into the Dart, the Flutter framework will convert it based on where the application is hosted. Or not in hosted, like what build we are generating, whether we are generating the Android APK file or iOS IPA file, it will actually convert the whole code into the ARM code, which Android and iOS can understand. And that's why it is so smooth. We will see this everything in our practical sessions. So this is the reason why the Flutter is more smooth, because they have worked from the ground up level. And that's why there are a lot of buzz around it and the apps looks very smooth. Does anyone know that you use a one app on a daily basis and it is written in a Flutter? Anyone have any idea which app you are using every day, which is built using the Flutter?
Might be YouTube or Gmail.
Nope.
Might be messages or call.
Nope. This application is regarding to the payments.
GPay, right?
Yes. So GPay app is written in a Flutter, like fully.
Google Ads is also based
Yes.
on the Flutter.
Yes, but Google Ads we are not using it as a daily basis, but I guess Google Pay is everyone have used it, right? Like it's so smooth,
Yes.
animation is so cool that as soon as your transaction done completed successfully, you get that tick with beautiful sound and the animation. So this everything has been achieved using the Flutter, and that using the single source code, and it has Android and iOS both the apps. So let's just go to a bit details of the Flutter. So in Flutter, everything is a widget. Like whatever thing you can see on your screen is a widget. Right. So these are some of the examples of some, Flutter apps which I have taken. So this animation, this robot is, flying. On the left hand side, there are like list. On clicking on it, it is getting converted into tab view. Sorry. Then on the second, there is an introductory screen where user is swiping and getting understand. And on the fourth screen, there is a chart and there's number animation. Everything is a widget, and you can build this much of smooth application using the Flutter. And that's the power. So widget everywhere. So from this point to for next 6 or 7 days, you can hear a lot of word which has a widget. So please bear with me and be ready with the word widget. So that might happen that on a day of 14 January there is a Makar Sankranti and you will scream widget on the terrace. So please don't curse me for that. Okay, so what widget can be? So on a screen, widget is an structural element. A button is a widget, a menu is a widget, a tab is a widget, radio button is a widget. Even a font is a widget and color also a widget. So if we compare this thing with any other framework, for example, React Native, if you want to write one screen design, for font and color, we are using the CSS. To create a button, we are using the JavaScript. For Android, again, we have some string and some XML file for the colors. And to create a button and to map it with the code, there is a Java or the Kotlin code. Even in the Flutter, for the layout element like margin and padding is also a widget. So if you want to add padding, wrap that particular widget into the padding widget and you have the padding. So this all about the widgets, but what exactly the widgets are? Why I'm talking a lot of about the widgets? So we can divide the widgets into main two categories, stateless widget and stateful widget. Now, stateless widget and stateful widget itself, it says something that there is a one common thing, which is the state. Some widget which doesn't have its state is a stateless, and some have their own state is stateful. So before we proceed further, I want to understand from all of you, what is your understanding of the state? Right? What do you think what a state can be?
I think, sir, in my language, I would say it's difference between HTML and any server programming language like PHP or something. So which has dynamic capability or event handling capability, probably.
Okay, so you are saying the state can be event handling or the what the other point you just mentioned?
Dynamicity.
Dynamicity and the event handling is a state according to your understanding.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Next.
Let's make it a little simple. Like let's say there is a button or a checkbox which is enable or disable. So those are two states. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So can we say that a state is kind of something which is visible to the user? Because that enable and disable is something that a user actually can see it.
Yes, but not always necessarily.
Okay, so like some portion which actually change the behavior or the look and feel of that particular widget is a state. Can we
said that after create that might be change, it's called a stateful, and for stateless we said once it create might be change. So there is no after creation kind of thing in stateless.
Okay. This is quite near to the main exactly what exactly the stateless and stateful. So I will repeat what sir mentioned is. So sir mentioned that if once you have created a widget and there is no change happens and there is no change required happens and it's not been done itself, it will be stateless. And if there is a change required and it get changed itself, it's a stateful. Have I conveyed correctly, sir, whatever you have mentioned?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Anyone want to add anything over here, stateless and stateful?
Sir, I think when the different kind of activities started and state is on active phase, and in Android we can say that when page was change from one page to another, like we click the login button and it will go to the home page. So at the time we can say that the system is on state, and when the activity cycle will end, then it's on a of state.
Okay. Like this is like very broad idea of the state, but yeah, this can be a state. Okay. Anyone? Okay, so let me just give you exact definition what exactly the state is. So whatever the you all have mentioned is partially correct, but is not totally correct. So state exactly nothing but just a value of a particular variable at a particular time. Nothing else. Is just a value of a particular variable at a particular time. So for example, if someone will ask me, hey Drumel, right now you are in which state? I say, right now I am in delivering a session state. Okay. What is your state right now according to your posture? So I'll say my current posture state is sitting on a chair. So if you take any widget and it has some variable which has some value. So rightly mentioned by the Monali ma'am that, for example, let's just take an example of a checkbox button. So checkbox right now, initially there is no checked, and the checkbox has a one variable called checked. Initially there is no value, that's why user can't see anything, and that's why it is not checked. So the value of that variable right now, it's a checked is equal to false. Now when user click on it, the value is getting changed from false to true, and as soon as the value is getting changed from false to true, the UI is getting updated. So, and now user can see the tick mark in the checkbox. So now if I look for the value of that variable, the value is true. That means the state of this checkbox is checked equal to true. So please, pay attention for this particular line because this is very important. This is the only crux of the whole Flutter framework is. So a state is nothing. It's just a value of a particular variable at a particular time. And if you want to change this particular value of a variable and you want to show the user that, hey, the value has been changed, then you need to call the set state method. If you don't call set state method and you change the value of that variable, user will not be notified. In our checkbox example, if I change the value of a variable checked from false to true, and if I don't call a method called setState, there won't be any checked sign on the UI for the user. So a state, again I'm repeating, a state is a value of a particular variable at a particular time. It's nothing more than that. And handling this state into the widget and throughout the whole application is called the state management in the Flutter. Now, if any widget has this kind of variable called state in which is being updated on doing any activity on that particular widget, so that particular widget is known as a stateful widget. And if a particular widget has a variable, but its value is not getting changed, so it's a stateless variable. It is just storing that data as a member variable. For example, our text widget. So on the text widget, whatever value that I will pass, for example, I'm creating a one login form. I have one text. I just put it as a username. And when it has been rendered on the screen, I can see the username as the label. Now that label, I mean that. Sorry. Sorry, come again. Hello. Sorry, I missed it. Can you just come again? Repeat your question. You can also type it if you have any question.
By mistake, mic is on. Maybe.
Okay, if anyone want to ask any question, just raise your hand so that the moderator can allow you to like unmute yourself. Okay, so we were discussing about the stateless and stateful. So I will come back with this tree when we'll start the practical session. Yeah. So yeah, we were talking about something called stateless and stateful widget. So here you can see this text is a stateless widget, but if the value is getting changed, like from 4 to 354, sorry. Hello. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. So we were discussing about the stateless and stateful widget. So stateful, if we consider this whole application. So here in the application, what is happening? I have a kind of some top menu, which is written Flutter demo homepage. Here I have some text. Here I have button. If I press on it, the value of this counter variable is getting changed. So on a press of it, I'm changing the value, like I'm doing the plus plus. So that's why it is getting incremented. And I'm calling this setState method. So setState method actually triggering the UI to tell that, hey, now you have to re-render the stuff. And that's why we can see pressing on this button, the value is getting changed of a counter. And because it is wrapped over the setState, we can see the trigger over the screen. Now, the another best part of the Flutter is the hot reload. Like in the same example, we can see that I am just changing the code from plus plus to minus minus, and we can directly see the replication of it. Like it's almost similar like a web development. You do any changes, you press refresh on the web page, and you can see that those changes been injected. The same thing is happening with the Flutter. Those who have worked with Android and iOS, they know how much it is painful. So you make any changes, you have to rebuild the application again, and that will consume a lot of time. And that's the reason that most of the people like me who have changed from Android or iOS, they are loving with the Flutter. So that's this particular functionality is called as a hot reload. And how this hot reload is happening. So as you all are from the tech background, so I can discuss this thing. So this uses the two main thing, and for the hot reload, it is using the one main thing, which is the JIT, just-in-time compilation. So when you develop any app for the Flutter, so when you develop app, it is in the debug mode. So in debug mode, what happens? It actually create one small virtual machine inside your application. And the whole application will run on small virtual machine with the whole Flutter SDK. Like the pure Flutter SDK has been injected in your mobile device. So that's why when you create simple hello world application using in the development time, and you will bring that APK out, it is around 40 to 45 MB. So that extra MBs are actually the virtual machine and your Flutter SDK. But when you actually release this app, as in the production build, that all the framework will get stripped out, and it will just be converted into the main build APK file, and then it will be get reduced to 3 to 4 MB. But again, the Flutter SDK is already there, and that's why the whole UI been managed by it. Now, when you are into debug mode, the virtual machine is already there. And when you make any changes like from this plus plus to minus minus, and you press on this star, which is the hot reload button, these changes will injected directly into the virtual machine using the JIT compiler, and you can see the difference over here. And that's how the Flutter actually superpower with the hot reload. Now, how to access the device specific feature? For example, now I have a requirement that I'm using the Flutter to develop application like Google Pay. Now Google Pay uses our contact list. Now to access this contact list from the native, whether it's Android or iOS, they have the different APIs, because if you want to access the contact, you have to do some specific code from Android. And if you want to access the contact, you have to do some specific code on the iOS. So how we can integrate such device specific feature on the Flutter app? Like some of the Android phone have the touch authentication, or like fingerprint authentication. iPhone has like visual authentication, like camera authentication, face recognition. So if I have an application which runs both on Android and iOS, how I can enable like platform specific feature for specific version of the app? Like, because I have only one app, one code, but if that particular code is running on Android, it should help the like fingerprint authentication. If the same code is happening on the iOS, it should enable the facial recognition. For that, Flutter provides the platform channels. So these platform channels allow you to handle those stuff. So here what we do, here I have the Flutter application where I have a specific functionality to implement based on the particular framework, or platform. So if I want to implement the facial recognition, I will implement in the native code in iOS. I'll write the iOS code in the iOS file. But for the Android, I will write Android code in the Android file, and then I will put a common name of these methods, like authenticate, and I will call this authenticate method using the Flutter, using the platform channel. This is just a 1 or 2 line of code. So that what will happen, Flutter will simply call a method called authenticate. Now it automatically identifies whether this app is right now running on Android or iOS. If it is running on Android, it will call that particular code. And if it is running on iOS, it will call that particular code in the iOS. So till now, we have discussed this thing, and these are the benefits of the Flutter. Like it compiles to the native code. There is no reliance on OEM widgets. The OEM widgets, I mean, whatever thing that we are looking at the screen, and it has been overridden by the devices, because here whatever the code you write and whatever the way you design, it will look same as it is on the device. Most of the time what happened that you are writing a code, you are seeing on your simulator something else, and when you release to the client or like in the production, it looks something else. Here the case is not there, because everything is managed by the Flutter itself. So there is no overridden. The widgets are simple and fast, that we will see in the upcoming lectures. Full customization and extensibility. I can paint anything on the screen, like anything. If I want to paint star on the screen, I can do it. And Flutter for web and desktop is on the way. Right now, web is in the beta. Web is already in the production, and desktop into the beta. And that's it. So after like learning this, I feel that मैं चांद पे है, but I don't know what you feel now. So I hope you guys are excited and you find something better to understand what exactly the Flutter is and how it has been different from each other. Yeah, so I'm done for this particular thing, and the next I'll show you how you can install the Flutter and configure at your place. Meanwhile, let me know if you have any question. We can take the question right now. Looks like no question. A boring session. I don't know. I hope everyone are like awake and not feeling hungry like me. No questions? Okay. Looks like I'm not that good, or I'm so good. Okay, everything is clear. I got one response in a chat. Okay, thank you. Okay, so most probably we will be using the official stuff from the Flutter itself, so that after this session as well, if you have any doubt, you can go and refer there. So let's just see how we can install it. So which like operating system right now you have? What kind of configuration you have on your system? Do you have Apple? Do you have Windows, Linux? What system you have? So that I can show you accordingly. Like unmute yourself and just tell me. Hello. Okay. So what we can do is we can simply go to flutter.dev. This is the website. And just go to flutter.dev, go to get started. And here you can see the multiple options. Depends on what kind of OS you have. Click on it, follow the instructions, and you will be able to configure your Flutter SDK. I will highly encourage you to use the VS Code. Even though you are using the VS Code, you require the Android Studio. So you need to download the Android Studio. But to develop and to write the code, I will encourage you to use the VS Code. The reason is it consumes less memory, and you can run the code very easily. And for the initial sessions, we don't need anything. We have something called dartpad.dev. If you go to the dartpad, this is a website like online editor or online compiler or whatever you say it. Just go to the new pad, click on OK, click on Flutter and create. So it will create a new app and you just simply need to click on run and it will run the app. Now, as I was saying that everything in the Flutter is a widget. So here, even the whole application, it's a widget. Let me just zoom in a bit so that everyone can visible. Is it visible to everyone now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so see, in every programming language, there is a one starting point, and most of the time it's a main method. The same for Flutter as well. Flutter also has the main method, and there is a one inbuilt method called run app. In run app, we just need to pass a one widget. So this run app actually expect one widget. So what we have done is over here, I am just creating one object of my class my app, and it extends with the stateless widget. And then everything just simply runs over on the screen. So this is as simple as that. Now, what exactly those things are, we will soon learn it. But to learn this thing, we at least need a basic understanding of the Dart. So in the next session, we are going to cover what exactly the Dart is, what are the main things, how we can write the list, map, variable, constants, what are the difference between them, how this particular things has been written, why there is no new keyword, because whenever we are creating any object, we always use like new keyword. But here the new keyword is not necessary. You can omit it just to make code is more readable. So that's it from my end, like introduction of Flutter and to installation of the Flutter. Once you install everything, your setup might look like this. You can have a Visual Studio. You can create a new project using Control P, like Flutter new application project. Once you go there, I'll simply create one new folder here, like Flutter Workshop. And in the Flutter Workshop, I'll select this folder and we'll create a new application like Flutter application demo 1. As soon as I will do it, it will automatically run some scripts behind the screen and it will run the app. Now, if you do not have an Apple system, you won't be able to run the application on iOS. But you can build the application for iOS. So how this will happen, and that's actually the pure magic. So if you want to build an application for iOS as well, and if you don't have the Mac system, that is completely fine. That's why the power of the Flutter will come. So here I'll just simply remove the unnecessary code which it has generated for me. So when you create first application, like any application in Flutter, it will give you one ready-made application, and the application is the counter application that we have seen in the demo with that zip file. I'll show you again. So this is the code. We can see the number of line of code is just 77. We can actually reduce this again because there are a lot of comments that they are providing, which we don't need, as I'll help you out for that. So the code is almost like 65 because we have spacing as well. And now if we run this, it will give me the option to run on where. So right now it is running on the Chrome, like web. Then I have right now I'm conducting this session from the MacBook. So I can run the iOS simulator as well. And then we have the Android simulator as well. So if we can see, it is running on the web. The web app is right now over here. I click on it, it will simply increment it. And if I go here and I'll change the code from plus to minus, save it, hot restart, and click on it, it will start working at the minus. Now, if I want to run this app on my iOS, I'll simply click on Start iOS Simulator. My iPhone will start soon. Meanwhile, I can stop that web. I'll simply run again. I'm running this according to the shortcut, which you can go live, run and start, run without debugging. I always prefer to start debugging so that if any error occurs, we can debug it. So now my iPhone is here and my code is compiling right now. So first time it will take time, but from the next time, whenever you run, it will run so quickly. Let's just see some magic over here. So the same application we will be running. First, we have run that application on the web. Now it will run on iOS. It's still building. So the reason why I ask you to share your device configuration is because this Android and iOS native will take a bit amount of time. Even though like I have a bit powerful system, which is like M1 chipset with Apple and like 16 GB of RAM, still it is taking this much of time. I don't know how much time it will take for you. And this is like kind of the main pain point for. So now it is running. And if I click on it, it will directly do the minus. And if I'll just simply press it, and it's working for the iOS as well. This is my iPhone. Now we will run it for Android. I'll change the device from here to my Pixel 3. Okay, now I have a Pixel 3 device. And I'll stop the building and I'll run the app for the Android. Okay, so like I'm done from my end. If you have any question, feel free to shoot. And once it will be run, I'll show you and then we will wrap this session up. So thank you everyone for listening me for the very first session and keep supporting till the 6th day. And I want some noise in the call. I mean, I don't like this kind of silence. I'm more towards the conversational base until it is not disturbing to anyone. So let's just keep, the environment like lively and active if possible. So like, see the same code base, I didn't change any single line of code and it is running on Android, iOS and web. So this is the Flutter and we are going to learn how, we can make our own applications. So this is it. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. For such a session. Dear participants, if you are having a question, unmute yourself. Mic is enabled for you now. Just try it and ask the question if you are getting any.
Yeah, so I can find one question over here is like, by next session, shall we keep Flutter.dev downloaded? Yes, if possible, keep your VS Code and this at least one simulator active, and keep the counter app running from tomorrow's session, so that whenever we run something, so you can run parallelly, and then me and Vivek can help you out if is there any problem will happen. Yeah, so there is one question from the Madhav, Mr. Madhav as the way. Yes, Madhav sir. Okay, so there is one question from the Darshak Bharat Bhai Mehta sir. He's asking that, sir, in VS Code I only new file option. No, you don't need to go in the file option. So what you need to do is like, are you able to see my screen? Okay, so if you go to the file, you can see only new file and the stuff. What you need to do is you need to press Control P. If you are having the Mac system, press Command Shift P or Control Shift P. You will get this kind of options here, and from here you can select Flutter. There will be a lot of Flutter commands, and here you can go Flutter new application project. And still, if you are not getting it, you can go to the VS Code here, Visual Studio Code. Hold on, let me just help you out for here. So Windows, Flutter installation, Android setup, Android Studio, Android device, Visual license, Windows setup, additional requirement, web setup, next, setup and editor. So here we have the Visual Studio Code. In Visual Studio Code, you can go to View and Command Palette. Also, you need to install the Flutter and Dart extensions. And from View to Command Palette, you can go to the Flutter. Like over here, you can go to the View, Command Palette. So this will open, and then you can select New Application Project. Let me know if it is not, it is still not working for you. Okay. Yes. Ghanshyam sir, can you just help Madhav sir to unmute themselves? He has raised the hand.
Sir, all the mics are enabled now. Okay. Since the option is not available now, it was already enabled.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so Madhu sir, you can like unmute yourself and ask your question. Looks like your hand is raised, and if it is by mistake, then you can click it again to raise down your hand. Okay, awesome. So it is now working for the Darshak sir. Perfect. Okay, so looks like there is no question, nothing more. So the next session will by the Vivek, and he will help you to understand how the Dart works and what are some basic necessity that you need to understand the Dart before we jump to the Flutter. And from tomorrow we'll start with the counter application, and we'll move forward from some more advanced stuff. So that's it from my. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day ahead, and please make yourself heavy with the lunch, but don't that much that you might get slept in the Vivek